Hi YouTube! It has been months since I've updated you. So naturally I have a lot to update you guys on. And a lot has happened. Life has been busy, crazy, hectic. Everything with the pregnancy though has been good. Like, I can't really complain. I'm coming to you from Cecilia's playroom. It will be baby in Cecilia's playroom, not just hers. So yeah, let me just jump into week 23 because 22 is where I last left you. Sorry. So week 23, I wrote feeling good! Exclamation point. Feeling movement all the time. So that was the last time I wrote feeling good. That is a distant memory now, but that's all I updated for that week. Week 24 was the first time that Doug, my husband, saw the baby jump, like in my belly. We had an additional ultrasound, a growth scan, because they didn't get the chambers of the heart on the first one. And so that was like, I think I got it done around 20 weeks. And then this one was at 24 weeks. And so we had a few ultrasound pictures. I hope to insert them here. So yeah, it was pretty cool. We don't have a very good shot of his face, but he looked so distinctly different. It was crazy. And he was breech, and so I was like, ugh. Like, I wasn't happy to hear it, even though they were like, it's super early, like, doesn't actually mean anything. I was like, meh. So week 25, her little girlfriend that she's met through a library music and movement program, she turned 2, and so we went to her birthday party. And I think this was the first time that she's ever been to a friend's birthday party, like around her age. I think that's true. And she shared like an apple crisp tart cake thing with me. She wasn't like too into it, so I kind of felt good about like, okay, here's a bite for you, and then a giant bite for me, and here's a bite for you. But yeah, she wasn't like crazy over the sweets. She was pretty cool about everything. We sold our house this week, week 25. Oh, that was crazy hectic. We had to take our dogs and of course all of our like extra belongings out of our house and store them at my best friend's parents' house in order to like make our house look more presentable and less cluttered. So a ton of Cece's toys were taken out and everything was just sort of very minimal. A lot of the pictures were taken down, like everything was out. So yeah, it was crazy. And we had to be out of our house from like 8 a.m. to like 8 p.m. Not really 8 p.m. because Cece had to sleep. Sorry, I thought there was a bug on the ceiling. So like until like 6:30 or so. But that was like a huge chunk of the day to just be displaced. So luckily my best friend, she was working at the time, she allowed me to go crash at her place and bring my dogs there, and it was awesome. So that part was really nice. And then we found somebody to buy our house, so also super nice. The next week, so that was actually when we sold our house. The next week, we bought our current house. It's crazy how it worked. The market here is absolutely insane. So we actually found a for sale by owner house, and we were the only offer. They had been on the market for like a day, and within 2 days I was like, putting together a purchase agreement and like we paid asking price. We didn't have a bidding war. Like, oh gosh, it was so nice. And they were the nicest people ever. So we got really lucky. And then after we closed on this house, we bought a van. We bought a 2018 Honda Odyssey. It's a minivan and I love it. I love it so much. For all of you people who hate minivans, and I know there are like a lot of my friends hate minivans. Minivans are amazing. We got an entertainment center thing in it. For car trips for Cecilia. Right now she's still rear facing, so she kind of just looks at it through her little mirror. But it calms her down, especially when we made our big long trip like 2 days after we bought our van. So it came in handy. The space came in handy because we stopped at IKEA. Like it fits so many and so much. So yes, if you're having more than one kid, I highly suggest a minivan. Yeah, I don't regret that for 1 second. And my husband has always wanted a minivan, so it was sort of like his dream come true. And mine too. I mean, I desperately wanted to not have my doors swing open in parking lots. And I'm like, as I'm getting bigger and bigger, I'm like, I need more space. I can't fit. Because we had an SUV before. We had a Kia Sorento before. So then the next week we left for Las Vegas, Nevada. And so we drove, and then we went to IKEA for my birthday. Oh my gosh, it was so awesome. We got like these little chairs. Ooh, let me try to get it in the shot. I don't know if you can even see them, but they're little like toddler chairs. We got 2 of them. Those were like our impulse buy. Everything else was like listed. We knew exactly what we were getting. It was amazing. And we were there for my niece's 2nd birthday, which was like a little tea party. And Cece like only has soy milk and water. She's had like the Honest Kids juice boxes, but very, very infrequently, like on her birthday, and that was about it. And they had like tea there for the kids, which was like a little bit of tea and a lot of juice. And she was like, more. Like the kid loved it. Excuse me, loved it. So that was super fun. She slept horribly on this trip. I felt really bad. I brought my best friend with us, and she, like, Cece cried every couple of hours, like during the night. It was terrible, just crying hysterically. And then I noticed that like when she was crying, she had like a rattly chest noise. So I was like, ooh, she's like, she has a chest cold or something. And it turns out, yes, she was sick. She was coming down with something. So that was not so fun. And yeah, so the sleep issues were terrible. I mean, we had like a queen bed at our hotel, and then like Cece would sleep in the middle, or we'd have a queen bed and like Doug would sleep with Cece and I'd go sleep with my best friend in the other bed. So it was not fun, but you know, it was okay. It was fine. We left. We made it. That's what I was trying to say. I'm reading. We left early. So right after we closed on our house, we started doing like demo work, hardcore, because the first floor was very dated except for the kitchen. And so we had to rip up all the floors. We knocked down a wall between the dining room and the kitchen to make it a more open floor plan. And I say we, and I mean my husband completely. So, yeah, so he was doing all that, and he got a little bit done before we left for Vegas. And so we were feeling kind of like anxious and like, we really shouldn't be here. We need to be working on our house because we wanted to get a ton of stuff done before moving in and all that stuff. So we did. We left early, and so we left at like noon or like 11 in Vegas, and we were driving until like 2 a.m. And like I get to a point where I cannot like stay awake at all. And so like every time I would blink, I would fall asleep. And if I tried to force my eyes open, I would see double. So Doug, my husband, drove for like the last 6 hours. I was like, you know, I would fall asleep and then I'd wake up and go, "Are you okay?" And Doug would say, "Yeah." Or he'd give me a thumbs up. And then I'd fall back asleep. I'm basically useless for late night car trips. Like, I wasn't drinking caffeine, like, it just wasn't happening. So, and my friend was doing the same thing. She was like, literally every time I shut my eyes, I fell asleep. So, yeah, and like she tried to stay awake and like talk to Doug a little bit, and she would like talk, and then I'd sort of like wake up and be like, "What are you doing?" "Oh, sleep." And yeah, it was just, it's not good. And then that brings us to the third trimester. So I'm going to end this right now, but I'm going to start a new one immediately to tell you all about the third trimester. Okay, bye guys.